Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for those who don't know me, my name is Kiara. You could take a look at my other videos if you're new. I have different topics, whatever stands out to you, you can take a look at. Basically my channel is all about mental illness, ending the stigma, basically shining light on issues where you may be struggling, issues in our day-to-day life that we face, and we may feel alone. And I always hope that my videos can shine a little light and give you a little bit of glimpse of hope, to keep going, keep pushing. Let's see, there will be trigger warnings before videos if it does end up being more heavier topics. This is a safe space for all those struggling with mental illness or want to know how to be an ally. And yeah, if you don't ever want to miss a video, you can press the bell notification and subscribe. So thank you for all my subscribers, and thank you for all those people thank you for all your support. It means a whole lot. So today's video is going to be about toxic relationships. Now, this is actually a topic that someone told me to do, which I'm always open for recommendations. If you ever have an idea of a topic that you want me to talk about, like tell me. I have my email below in the description below, and my Instagram. If you know me personally, you can DM me, text me, whatever. Just if you have any ideas of something, I'm more than glad to do it. So definitely. So yeah, we will be talking about toxic relationships, and I was gonna do it more in a romantic romantic relationships, but then I realized no, there's toxic family relationships as well. So I'm gonna try to put them both together and just kind of tell you what is the difference between toxic relationships and healthy relationships, right? And I think this is an important topic because many people stay stuck in situations because they feel like there is no way out, right? This is especially when you've been in a long relationship. I know my relationship was 5 years. Or even, family, right? Family, you're stuck with them, right? You feel like that's family, so I have to deal with them. But no, in reality, you don't have to. You don't have to deal with anything that makes you feel unsafe, unheard, invalidated. You don't have to deal with any of that. If it feels toxic to you, if it's causing you any harm in any way, mentally, physically, emotionally, you have every reason to get out, to not deal with it, not associate yourself with it. Everyone has a right to do that. So a couple signs of what is healthy and what is toxic, right? So most toxic relationships, you're gonna feel a shift in your mood and in your energy. Many times when you deal with toxic relationships, you feel drained, right? You feel physically drained, physically, emotionally, mentally. You just feel so drained, like you've put all your energy into something and somehow it's still not enough, right? Because many times the toxic person takes. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, straight from the bat, I know because I've been on both ends, okay? I've been the toxic person and I've been the victim, So I've been on both ends. I'm not perfect. God knows I'm not perfect. I've done my fair share of manipulation, of all the toxic crap, right? And what I've tried to do is learn from it, move past it, and be better, because no one wants to deal with the shitty person, right? I don't want to be a shitty person, so I try to be better. So yeah. So basically, I'm just telling you that I'm not at all a professional as well. I should state that I'm not a professional at all. So most of my videos are just out of experience and research I've done. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is if you need help, I can give you advice, but I ain't no therapist, okay? Like, I can do the best I could do, boo, but I can't fix your problems. I can help you. I'm here to help. I'm here to fill you with hope, but that's about it. You still want to call a therapist. But basically, yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, you feel a shift in energy. You feel drained. You feel like you put all this energy into something and that you still come out short, basically. When you're in a healthy relationship, you don't feel as drained. You feel good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying your life's gonna be perfect. You're like, yeah, like, this is great. But you feel like you have more control over your life. You're not really stressing of the lives of others. You're really just you feel content. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, you feel at peace, you feel calm, you know, you don't feel as anxious, you feel calm, which I'm still trying to know how that feels like, because the amount of toxic relationships I've encountered, man, in my family and out of it, you know what I mean? But that's how you know something's healthy, right? Where there's no pressure, there's no like, it just goes, it's just, you know, flows like a river, you know, just flows. All I kept thinking about is that song, what's it? Then the river flows surely to the sea, some things are meant to be. Okay, anyway. Yo, I'm out of it, man. Okay, anyways, back to what I said. All right, so second thing, manipulation, right? Manipulation is huge in toxic relationships, and that's just someone really controlling you, right? Having full control over your thoughts, your actions. And it's like, when someone has that much control and power over you, right, over your emotions and over your actions, you'll notice that. And me being an emotionally driven person, a lot of times my emotions are out of place, and I notice when someone triggers and when someone like does things on purpose to get a reaction out of me. I know that. And just when people know that, that's literally a form of control, a form of manipulation. Like, when people, that in itself is toxic, right? And you know, you should never feel in a place where someone is doing that. Or even for gaslighting, okay? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term. Gaslighting is huge also in toxic relationships. And I'm gonna read to you the actual definition, because I suck at explaining what things are, right, without the exact definition. So, gaslighting. It is a form of psychological manipulation in which a person seeks to sow seeds of doubt in a targeted individual or in members of a targeted group, making them question their own memory, perception, or reality. So, basically, gaslighting is a form of manipulation, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say it's girls' night or guys' night, because it could be either or. We're not going with, you know, gender specific. Toxic relationships are toxic relationships. No one's toxic than the other. There's some toxic ass men out there as much as there's toxic ass women out there. Equal. Or if you're non-binary, okay? I'm not even going to feminine, male, just toxic, okay? We're going about toxic. So it's girls' night, boys' night, just a night out in the city. You go and you see a car parked, like, and you go to check it out, right? You're just like, wait, hold up. Why is that car like just chilling there? It's been chilling there for hours. What the heck? And you go a little closer, You're like, what the? Yo, that's really my partner over there. Yo, what the? And then you realize, right, when you get close enough, that that's your partner, okay? That's your significant other out there that should be trusting you, is out there looking at you, trying to figure out what you're doing during your night out. So you go back home and you don't know how to bring it up to them, but you're like, I need to bring it up because that's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, you should be trusting me, right? So you go up to them and you're like, hey, by any chance, were you at that place I told you I was going to be with my friends? And they're going to be like, look at you like you have 10,000 heads. And then they're going to hit you with, are you serious right now? Are you seriously going to question me right now? You see, this is the thing. We never have trust in this relationship. We never have trust. You always want to question me. So in that instance, they know damn well they were snooping. They were being all Joe, okay? From you, yeah, they were doing that. They know damn well they were spying on you. But instead, they're making you seem like you're crazy. Like, nope, like you're out of your mind. And how dare you question me? So you see, they're altering, they're trying to alter the situation, making you think that you're out of your mind, right? When in reality, you are at a lambu. You have a stalker. You should be careful. So that's basically what that is, right? So honestly, I always say, if there's no trust in a relationship, if you feel like you need to go out of your way to spy on the other person, look through their phone, even looking through your phone, right? We live in a time where it's easy to have access to other people's phone, right? Your significant other, they leave it there and you just get curious, you want to look. It may seem harmless, but it's honestly not, because that's you invading their privacy. You know, that's already like, there's no trust there, right? You're invading each other's privacy. So at the end of the day, you know, what do you have? You know, you should never feel like you need to be like on constantly looking at their stuff, you know. So that in itself is toxic, right? But there's levels of toxicity, right? It's not just like, there's really levels, okay? Another thing is just, honestly, a topic that comes up a lot when it comes to toxic relationships. How do you know, right? How do you know? Because arguments are normal in a relationship. Arguments are normal, right? But when you see that arguments, like, if you feel like you can't say something without feeling invalidated, without it leading to something more than what it is, then that's when you should start questioning, right? Like, if you simply call or tell someone, listen, when you did this, it really bothered me. And they escalate it to like another level, something that was so simple that you could have talked it out, and they just escalate and they just make it, pinpoint it back on you, right? That's when it starts, you know, and especially when it's a pattern. If this happens consistently, you know, then you have to really kind of check the situation that you're in, because it can get really, you know, sometimes you could go up to someone and that your partner may be having a bad day, you know, or your mother or your father may be having a bad day. You come at them and they're just like, you know, I don't want to deal with this. And they just, okay, we get it. But if it's constant, like every time you go up to that person and they do that, that's when it gets tricky, you know? So for me, it's like arguments, they're crucial. Arguments are crucial in a relationship. If you don't argue, if you don't have, then you should probably question, because it can't be perfect all the time. Of course not. That it's not, life is not a fairy tale. Life is not always going to be 100% great. There's going to be arguments, okay? But it's all about healthy arguments where both of you can voice each other's opinions, voice each other's thoughts, and validate one another and come to a conclusion, right? To a solid conclusion where, you know, you're speaking to me, expressing your points, your emotions, and where I can understand. I'm actually listening, okay? Listening, understanding. Because sometimes, a lot of times, people in arguments, they listen to automatically, to know how to respond, right? Instead of listening to understand, okay? Because I get it though. In heated arguments, a lot of times we want to win, right? We want to get our point across. So it's like, I'm waiting for you to say something for me to follow up. Instead of listening to understand where that other person's coming from. Therefore, you avoid future arguments about the same fucking shit. Because most times, excuse my language, but most times arguments happen about the same thing because you don't know how to talk about it from the very beginning. You guys are still fighting about this shorty that keeps liking your DM, your pictures on Instagram, or DMing you, when you could have easily talked about this from the beginning. Why is she doing it? Why are you entertaining it? You know, stuff like that, where it's like, I get it. We live in a time of social media, right? So social media causes a bunch of arguments that could be avoided. But if there's communication, none of that should matter. If it's someone you truly trust, none of that should matter. So it's like, honestly, learn how to communicate. Learn how to communicate, learn how to talk. Okay, I get it, easier said than done, because the way I talk to the camera and the way I talk on social media, it's so different than when it comes to talking about my emotions. Oh, that's a whole different cat. Like, oh no, I can't let them know how I feel. Oh my God, no, I can't. I gotta stay mysterious. I'm a Scorpio. I gotta stay mysterious. But no, like I feel like partners need to learn how to communicate. And it's really important that in a relationship, you both fully understand one another, get to understand one another, and do it in a respectful way where you're not disrespecting one another, where you're not laying hands on one another. That's when it really gets to another level of toxic. That's already abuse, physical. I mean, that's what comes with toxic, is the physical abuse, mental abuse. It's not always has to smack you or hit you, right, for it to be abuse. So all I can say is if you find yourself in a position like that where you feel like there's no way out, there is. I'm telling you, because I've been there, done that, and I can tell you there is a way out. And a lot of times we have to reflect on ourselves, right? Sometimes you don't do anything wrong and you end up with a toxic person. Sometimes you both are toxic. In my experience, we were both toxic. So I knew I had to heal and I had to be better, right? And I am now in a place where I can own up to it, where I can say I was not the best person. And sometimes you just need to really take yourself away from that. Take a step back from that relationship. Okay, if you end up back together and maybe in time you guys are great, then great. If not, there's so many other people. And I feel like we get stuck to the one person we know because it's all we know, right? We're afraid to know what's outside of that. And sometimes the things we want most are not the best for us. So with that being said, if you're in a toxic relationship, throw that out. Throw that basura, throw that trash out, boo. We ain't dealing with that. We ain't dealing with that 2020. We ain't dealing with it. Okay? If you think it's toxic, if you see any red flags where you need to question, is this healthy? It's probably not healthy, boo. It's not healthy. And you don't have to deal with it alone, okay? There's professionals out there. You can go to your friends, family, and if those are the people who are toxic, then there's other options out there. You can come to me. There's people out there you can talk to, okay? And many times, I think that's the main issue too, is sometimes we let outside voices, right? Friends, family. Like if you have issues with your partner, you go to your friends, right? And sometimes your friends don't even, I think a relationship is always two people, right? If you can learn to talk to that person, then that's all you really need, is to learn how to communicate with that person. Because many times if you let outside voices intervene in a relationship that's already not as great, it can make it 1,000 times worse. But if you've tried and I'm telling you, this is for all relationships, not just romantic. If you've tried to fix a relationship with your mother, father, siblings, your boyfriend, girlfriend, if you've tried and it's not getting anywhere, then at some point you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. But just know that those relationships can only be fixed between two people, okay? And the rest, maybe you need healing, they need separate healing. You can both go to therapy. You can both go seek other resources. There's resources out there. So if you ever feel unsafe, if you ever feel like you need to talk to someone, you are not alone. There are plenty of resources out there. And yeah, just know that, we all go through toxic relationships. And honestly, the way I see it is toxic relationships, you can learn a lot from them. You can learn a lot from them. And, I think it takes someone really brave to know when something's not right for them and taking a step back, and putting yourself first. That's the most important. Put yourself first. Put your safety first. You come first before anybody else. All right. With that being said, love you all. Mwah.